was of average height, very bald with blue eyes and a hook nose. His hands and feet were so distorted by gout that he could not endure a shoe for long, enroll a book, or even hold one. The flesh on his right side, too, had grown out and hung down to such an extent that it could, with difficulty, be held in place by a bandage. It is said that he was a heavy eater, and in winter time was in the habit of taking food even before daylight. While at dinner, he helped himself so lavishly that he would have the leavings, which remained in a heap before him, passed along and distributed among the attendants who waited on him. Nero was succeeded by Galba, who was related in no degree to the house of the Caesars. Although unquestionably of noble origin and of an old powerful family, for he always added to the inscriptions on his statues that he was the great-grandson of Quintus Catulus Capitolinus. And when he became emperor, he even displayed a family tree in his hall, in which he carried back his ancestry on his father's side to Jupiter and his mother's to Pacify, the wife of Minos. He began his career of office before the legal age, and in celebrating the games of Floriana, in his praetorship he gave a new kind of exhibition, namely of elephants walking the rope. His double reputation for cruelty and avarice had gone before him. Men said that he had punished the cities of Spain and Gallic provinces, for he had hesitated without taking sides with him by heavier taxes, and some even by the raising of their walls, putting to death the governors and imperial deputies, along with their wives and children. He was wholly under the control of 3 men who were uncommonly known as his tutors, because they lived with him in the palace and never left his side. He condemned to death dividers, distinguished men of both orders on trivial suspicions without a trial. He rarely guaranteed Roman citizenship, and the privileges of threefold paternity to hardly 1 or 2, or even to those only for a fixed and limited time. When the jurors petitioned that a 6th division be added to their number, he not only refused but even deprived them of privilege granted by Claudius, of not being summoned for court duty in winter, at the beginning of the year. On the other hand, there was nothing that he did not allow his friends and freemen to sell at price or bestow as a favor. Taxes and freedom from taxation, the punishment of guiltiness and impunity by the guilty. As he was offering sacrifice on the morning before he was killed, a soothsayer warned him again and again to look out for danger, since assassins were not far off. Not long after this, he learned that Otho held possession of the camp, and when several advised him to proceed thither too soon as possible, for they said that he could win the day by his presence and prestige. He decided to do no more than hold his present position and strengthen it by getting together a guard of legionaries. He was lured out by false reports, circulated by the conspirators to induce him to appear in public. For when a few rashly assured him that the trouble was over, that the rebels had been overthrown, and that the rest were coming in a body to offer their congratulations, ready to submit to all his orders, he went out to meet them, with so much confidence that when one of the soldiers boasted him that he had slain Otho, he asked him, "On whose authority?" And then he went on as far as the Forum. There were horsemen who had been bidden to slay him, spurring their horses through the streets and dispiriting the crowd of civilians, caught sight of him from a distance and halted for a moment. Then they rushed upon him again and butchered him, abandoned by his followers. Some say that at the beginning of the disturbance he cried out, "What mean you, fellow soldiers? I'm yours, and you are mine," and that he even promised their largesse. But the more general account is that he offered them his neck without resistance, urging them to do their duty and strike, since it was their will. It might seem very surprising that none of those present tried to lead aid to their emperor, and that all who were sent for treated the summons with contempt, except a company of German troops. These, because of the recent kindness in showing them great indulgence when they were weakened by illness, flew to his help. But through the unfamiliarity with the city, it took a roundabout way and arrived too late. He was killed beside the lake of Curtis and was left lying just as he was, until a common soldier, returning from a distribution of grain, threw down his load and cut off the head. Then, since there was no hair by which to grasp it, he put it under his robe, but later thrust his thumb into the mouth so carried it to Otho. The Senate, as soon as it was allowed to do so, voted him a statue standing upon a column adorned with beaks of ships, in part of the forum where he was slain. But Vespasian annulled this decree, believing that Galba had sent assassins from Spain to Judea to take his life. He met his end in the 73rd year of his age and the 7th month of his reign.